Assalamualaikum and welcome to lesson 4 of my video presentation on problem-based learning. I'm Hussain Othman, a PBL practitioner. The discussion in this lesson is on topic, what is the problem? In the past, good pedagogy was about making content knowledge visible to students. Teaching was about providing clear explanations to students in disseminating knowledge and solving problems. In the early 20th century, this sufficed for the classroom. Moving towards the last decade of the 20th century, good pedagogy was about making teachers' thinking visible. In other words, effective teaching was characterized by modeling the learning process so that students could observe and learn process skills, problem-solving skills, and thinking skills while acquiring content knowledge. The 21st century pedagogy has to go beyond making content visible and making teachers' thinking visible. Good pedagogy today is about making students' thinking visible. The challenge of education is to design learning environments and processes where students' ways of thinking and knowing are manifested in active, collaborative, self-regulated and self-directed learning. After decades of studies, problem-based learning proven to be a pedagogical approach that goes beyond making the content and teachers' thinking visible. The problem as the base for learning challenges students' current knowledge, attitudes, and competencies, and making their thinking visible to themselves, their peers, and the teacher. However, not every problem could be able to do so. Then, what is really the problem that makes students' thinking visible? First, the problem should be the base for the learning, not an accessory or a complementary. Second, the definition of a problem in PBL is not only about something that isn't working or a difficult situation that needs to be corrected or overcome. It is a wide-ranging definition of a problem. Third, in PBL, the problem is purposely designed for students to embark on their learning process. Let us explore the first point here. Educators from the traditional schools of teaching and learning believe that learning through problems is not a new way of learning. The traditional way of learning, they assume, always taking into consideration the use of problems in learning, either at the end of the lecture or during the formative assessment or in the final exam. Then they ask, what is the difference between the traditional way of learning and the problem-based learning? PBL experts and practitioners, on the other hand, draw a clear distinction between the traditional way of learning and problem-based learning. Traditional learning is content-based learning. The content is the base for learning from the beginning to the end. Often, the content compiled in the textbooks or module. The learning outcomes essentially based more on the memorization of the content or its application. Students are expected to understand and memorize the content while the teacher or lecturer delivered the lecture, which usually one-way or interactive lecture with some varieties of question and answer sessions. The problem will be assigned at the end of the lecture or as a take-home assignment purposely to test the students' memorization. Often, the problems presented to the students in the traditional curriculum are real-world problems. However, they are the end of lecture problems or the textbook problems. The problems presented purposely to conclude the learning or sometimes to validate the students' memorization. Students are not expected to learn through the problems, rather learn about the problems. If they are to face similar problems with slightly different formats and variations in the real world, they will face difficulties to understand and solve the problems. They are not well prepared and lack of problem-solving experience, since the skills were mostly taught through lectures, not by experiential learning and rigorous thinking drills. In this traditional learning structure, the problem is considered as an accessory to the learning, to complement the learning process, not the base for the learning as understood in PBL. PBL, on the other hand, is based on the problem, the authentic real-world problem assigned to students to start the learning. Students working in group embark into the first step of learning called the diagnostic or sometimes called brainstorming or inquiry process. Often, the students will be trained using a specific diagnostic approach beforehand. Having concluded the diagnostic and inquiry process, the students then move to the self-directed learning phase to explore the learning issues discovered during the diagnostic and inquiry process, as well as to learn new skills. They are expected to master both the content and skills, most often far beyond what was taught by the teachers. One of the most crucial learning processes in PBL that does not properly and widely used in the traditional learning is reflective learning. This learning process is very essential for students to strengthen their learning mastery as well as the skills of lifelong learning. It completes the learning cycle in PBL. In short, in PBL, problem is a base for learning. The learning process is about learning through the problem, not learn about the problem. Second, there is a wide-ranging definition of a problem. In PBL, a problem is not only about something that isn't working or a difficult situation that needs to be corrected or overcome. Those are problems, but they represent a narrow definition of a problem. The term problem is redefined in PBL to widen learning for learners. A problem exists whenever you are looking for a better way to accomplish something or you would like to make an unacceptable situation acceptable. A problem also occurs when you are facing with many alternatives to take. And a problem also occurs when you are given a task to design or create artistic work. Almost everything you do at work outside of certain routine relates to problem. A problem in PBL can be first something that is broken, not working or malfunctioning and in need of repair, correction or treatment. Second, someone who is ill, dissatisfied or in some sort of trouble. Third, a mysterious or unexplained happening, accident or phenomenon that needs to be understood or explained. Fourth, finding a better way to accomplish or carry out something. Fifth, a perceived need or a request to design or create a product, artifact or artwork. Sixth, a difficult or complex task that has to be undertaken. Third, in PBL, the problem is purposely designed for students to embark on their learning process. Well-designed problem triggers create a better learning experience and develop more significant learning skills, including higher order thinking skills, self-directed learning skills, team skills, and problem-solving skills. According to Hang, problem should be carefully designed to represent its function as a content and knowledge organizer, learning environment contextualizer, thinking or reasoning stimulator, and learning motivator. According to Tan Unsing, the problem is the starting point of learning. It should be unstructured and set in a real-world context. If it is a simulated problem, then it should be designed to be as authentic as possible. Unstructured problem is the starting point from which active learning is embarked, and it will continue to anchor the inquiry and learning process. The unstructured problem requires students to explore learning from multiple perspectives. The use of interdisciplinary knowledge is a key feature in PBL. PBL encourages the solution of problems by integrating knowledge from various subjects and topics. Learners will have to embark on multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, or transdisciplinary knowledge exploration and solution, thus calling for the identification of learning needs and new areas of learning. PBL problem designer should avoid the fictional problem, which is not a real-world problem, end of chapter problem, which is too structured, as well as wicked problem, which is too ill-structured. Wicked problems are unavoidably ill-defined, unlike problems in the natural sciences, which are definable and separable and may have solutions that are findable and traceable. Wicked problems are never solved. We will explore further the problem design process and model in the upcoming videos. At this stage, we should be able to differentiate between the use of problem in traditional learning and problem-based learning. I leave this message from Albert Einstein for us to ponder. Education is not the learning of facts, but the turning of mind to think. Thank you very much for your time and kind attention to my presentation. Viewers who are new here, please subscribe to my channel so you'll get the notification on my upcoming videos. And don't forget to like and share this video. If you have something to share, please leave the comment below. Have a great day. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.